Hey, everybody, this is Chris Bolus, founder and CEO of Formulatic, a provider of demand generation and revenue operations consulting services built exclusively for B2B SaaS organizations. And in this video, we're going to use this time to break down how a SaaS company is structured internally, how we think they're operating, and how they're going to market based on the utilization of third-party tools online that we can try and utilize to get a better understanding of just how they're organized and how they function holistically from an outside perspective. So this is going to be a truly random exercise. I have not yet selected a company. We're going to utilize this B2B SaaS database that I have up on my screen here to pick a company, and we're going to run with it. We're going to learn as much as we can collectively here together. But the main takeaways that I want folks to understand from my perspective, what I'm looking for. This is my own kind of personal process. I generally do this anytime I'm even curious about a company or if they're a potential prospect for Formulatic's consulting services. I'll kind of go through these same motions, even in advance of meeting anyone internally from that prospective organization to try and learn as much as I can about them. So without further ado, here we go. I have pre-filtered this database to United States-based companies doing at least 10 million in revenue with any valuation in any industry. We're going to leave that kind of wide open. And we have about 1,600 SaaS companies here. What we're going to do to spice this up is we're going to have ChatGPT return a random number to us. And we're going to use that number to find a company on that database list. So let's say, please return a random number between 1 and, there are 1,500 there. Let's try and make this easy. Let's just say between 1 and 200. 129. Okay, so let's go back to the database. Scroll down. There's 25 per page. So 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, and then page 6. 25, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Okay, we are looking at Order. So this is a company supposedly doing about 11.1 million in revenue. They've raised $45 million. 113 employees. They're about 7 years old in the financial services industry. Okay, so number one is going to be first and foremost to understand what this company does. So let's navigate right over to their website and let's take a look. So this is order.co. This seems to be a purchase lifecycle provider for businesses. So this would be for processing and managing purchase orders, coordinating invoices from vendors, simplifying approvals across teams, procurement. Okay. This is an industry that I am personally quite familiar with. We have a competing client that's actually in this space that we work with. So I have some level of visibility here. So this seems to be a decently established company. The site overall looks nice here at first glance. We see some long form and short form content between ebooks and blogs. First order of business here is going to be to go back to the LinkedIn page here and kind of validate some of these metrics. So they have about 146 employees. That roughly matched up with what, the 113-ish that we saw. I'm going to trust LinkedIn here as a better source of truth. What I always like to do is I like to try and benchmark the revenue relative to the employee count. So if we say 146 employees in a really well-performing SaaS company, should be doing about $200,000 in revenue per employee. That works out to roughly a $29 million company. To get to 11 million that database provided, we'd have to really drastically reduce that revenue per employee. But if we even just took the low end, 146 by about 140,000. This is a generally a low end. On the low end we get $20 million. So look, we're looking at revenue range of low to mid 20 million or so. They appear to have raised through a Series B as recently as about a year and 3 months ago. That would be a total of about $30 million. That doesn't generally just end there. I do like to actually see who their venture capital firms are that they're actually working with or who have invested. It's actually not returning on order.co. Let's just link to it directly from Crunchbase. Here it is. Okay, so we are validating the 44.7 based in New York, New York. Okay, and their investor list is quite large. Let's see. Collaborative Fund, Clock Tower, Stage 2, Rally Ventures. Yeah, nothing's really jumping out to me here in terms of firms that I'm familiar with, but that is okay. So from here, we at least have a general sense of what they do. We have a general sense of their revenue and employee count. The next thing that we'll do is we'll try and further understand how the site is structured here. So call to action above the fold with a general get started. I can see through the href. That's going to take us to their demo page. Let's see how this is optimized. We have some social proof roughly above the fold. I like this message. It's not just request a demo. It's to see how order.co can simplify your buying process. Arguably, that could even use a little bit more clarity yet. I do also like the idea of communicating upfront what happens after they fill out the form. A lot of companies tend to miss this step, or it would be embedded, after the point of submission. I'm actually going to fill out their form just so we can see if anything happens after this. Okay, so they are using a booking link to book directly. This looks like Chili Piper, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if it's going to tell us real fast. I'm pretty sure this is Chili Piper. Yeah, it is. Data Chili CSS. Okay. So Chili Piper, really good tool for booking meetings with SDRs, BDRs. Arguably a lot more sophisticated capabilities than what Calendly offers. So I'm a big proponent of Chili Piper specifically. Let's take a quick look here through the rest of kind of the company. This is their thank you page. I do like that they reference the person by name. That's really good. This is great. This is excellent. I had never actually seen this done before. I'm actually presently surprised. I'm actually going to screenshot this so that I can share it with my team and perhaps a couple other clients. I'm actually really, really pleased by how they've done that there. Really personal, offers a direct number and an email address. I love that. Okay, let's take a look at what types of content they have. Easily broken out here with a resource center, blogs, ebooks, case studies. Let's check out how their ebooks are kind of organized here. We'll just kind of pick something, see if they're gated or not. They are gated. Okay. I'm going to look like a really strong MQL with some of these, steps I'm taking, but I'm going to run with it so I can get a sense of what their autoresponder emails look like. I'm going to have to really apologize to Nicholas later when he reaches out to me. Okay, and they have the call to action right next to this for the demo. This is fantastic. Okay, I'm actually going to drop some of these screenshots in my Slack here. Okay, so we have a general sense of how their content is outlined. If you click get started, that takes you to demo. Look, we're nitpicking here. I do think that they could use some specificity in directly drawing attention to the demo request in their messaging. No access to a free trial from what we can see. So they do want you to work through their demo process. I am a big proponent of SaaS orgs that are more so product led personally, but this is still a step ahead of, what we typically see for your average Series B company. Now, from here, let's swing over and get a general sense of any ads that are being ran. We can do that by coming over to the page once again, the LinkedIn page that is, by navigating to posts. And then if you click on ads, here we can actually get a sense of what they are promoting. So they're doing a lot of ebook based promotion here and some get a demo. Go beyond purchasing software, buying for your business simplified. Okay, some value prop based messaging. Got it. So a lot of ads as we scroll through here, and this is continuing to run. So we know that we're spending some money on LinkedIn. Let's then take a quick peek at SpyFu and try and get a sense of what paid search traffic looks like. I'm getting what, probably, 2,500 ish, 1,000 clicks a month from paid search. Swing over to the PPC tab here, get an overview. Estimated monthly PPC budget 61K. Take this with a grain of salt. What matters more is how this compares to competing organizations, not necessarily what the number is at face value. Do I think that Order.co is actually spending 60K a month on Google Ads? They very well may be. But more often than not, this number is off by a decent margin. But they have some history built up here, at least over the last year and a half or so. Yeah, really over the last year or so. It's gone through some ebbs and flows in terms of, peaking around the summer of last year. And with the economic downturn, not surprised to see that that's since trailed off by a great deal. So we know that we do have some um, paid search and LinkedIn activity occurring. For organic, rather than using SpyFu for organic, I actually prefer to use Ahrefs for this. So let's drop in their domain, and they have a pretty weak domain in backlink profile. Unbanked, as I was just looking at before this, had over 100,000, backlinks. Domain rating here is really not taking anything qualitative into account directly on site or through keyword optimization. It's solely looking at backlink profile, which, doesn't really have a lot, not a lot of history on the backlink profile. But if we take a quick peek specifically at what their keyword distribution looks like, right on the surface, this is seemingly looking like predominantly non-brand, which is really good to see. Now, Order.co is obviously not the most specific or explicit, name that you could choose, even if it was just order without the domain extension. That in and of itself is quite broad. So I'm not surprised that that's not showing up a lot in here. But we do see quite a qualitative subset of non-brand keywords in here. Everything from procurement to POs to controlling spend, process versus cost. There's a strong non-brand component here. So at least on the surface, from what we can see, not having the ability to look firsthand at how performance actually looks, we do see that seemingly the organic traffic is qualitative, running a good mix of both paid search and social based ads. If we were to also take a look at some of what the ad history suggests for their ads account, we can see kind of what they're promoting here. Largely demo based, it would seem, in search, which I would agree with, as opposed to downloading an ebook. So I think that gives us a good general lay of the land. The idea behind videos like this is that this type of research should be quick, that you can get a good sense or baseline of at least what's happening in market or what they're doing in market and where their focus seems to be from a marketing campaigns and promotional perspective. And this gives us enough to really go into an initial call with, someone on the demand gen team or even on the rev op side or both on the same call to ask a little bit more of, some more specific questions. So hopefully this was helpful. The plan is to do a little bit more of these examples, in the future, and looking forward to doing more. Thanks for tuning in.